welcome to RetroLogic. I'm Sam Wagers, and joining me today is John Cummins.
Howdy.
And Dan Caparello.
I'm gonna try really hard to not backseat drive.
All right, it's my turn to host this time, so get ready for a whole lot of pluck. I've actually coming back from a work trip to Virginia, and I made some meme posts on Twitter about standing outside the Capitol campaigning for Plock 2 to become a reality.
I
don't
enjoyed
think
those.
I've changed any minds yet, but fear not, true Plock comrades. I will not give up. I will not be silenced, and I will not be diddled again.
Did you raise the shorts flag at the Capitol there?
Possibly. I may have. But anyway, that was a whole thing that happened. I did go to D.C. I didn't actually enter the White House and yell at people to make Plock 2 a reality. But I'm back home now and happy to be here.
You didn't yell no Plock, no peace?
Retro games at various game stores along the way. But other than that, today we will be chatting about 30 years of Super Nintendo. We'll be talking about Dokapon Kingdom, and we'll be talking about all the pickups that we've made recently. RetroLogic is not just a podcast, it is a retro game store. Visit retrologic.games to check out our growing inventory of clean, tested, and 100% authentic retro games, as well as merch. We've got some wonderful t-shirts. And join our Discord. It's a great place to interact with other like-minded people, talk about Plock, talk about everything, talk about Atari Jaguar, whatever you're into, retro games. We love all of it. We are 100% non-toxic, non-gatekeepy. It really is just a wonderful little corner of the internet. Highly recommend it. But with that, we'll get into what we've been playing lately. So I'll let Dan go first, because he normally hosts. He doesn't usually get to go first.
Yeah.
It goes last.
I go last. Cool. This is nice. I like this. Okay, so not a lot again. I've been doing pretty good on the pickups lately, but this week I slowed it down a little bit. I've got some Nintendo Switch games to buy coming up, so slowed it down on the retro stuff. Plus, I have nowhere to put them right now, so it's just kind of sad getting a fun thing in the mail and then not being able to do anything with it. So I picked up a copy of Toejam and Earl 3 for the Xbox. I've been on an Xbox kick lately. Just the disc. It was like, I think just the disc is a $20 pickup, but I found one on eBay going for $13 with free shipping. And they had it listed as disc only, but it actually has it has the Hollywood Video case and cover. So you know,
good, man.
Yeah, I mean, and for me that's like double nostalgia because I worked at Hollywood Video. So I'm like, okay, I have to get this copy then. Right price, the cover art's there, so I will be picking that up. Toejam and Earl 3, I don't remember it being great, but I have become my love for Toejam and Earl has done nothing but grow. So I figure it's kind of a rite of passage for me to own this game. And with Xbox being on my high on my list of buys right now before it explodes in price, that was a necessity. And then no other pickups, but I did cross a threshold on my Gameye list. My collection is now officially worth over $10,000. So,
yeah.
Thank you very much. I guarantee you I did not spend nearly that much money buying these games, but the way that the spike has been, things are kind of insane right now. And the funny thing is, the items, because I have stuff that I haven't entered yet, and I've just been slowly going through it, mostly the accessories. So the thing that I entered in that pushed me over the edge were the DK bongos for GameCube, appropriately. I have 4 of those. So, and those are going for like $40 now.
They've gone up. You used to be able to buy them for like $5.
I think I got all of mine for like 10 or $20 a pop. somewhere. You know what I mean?
Saw
Like
a copy of DK Conga recently. It doesn't go for that much.
the game itself.
Yeah, the game.
Yeah.
It's like a $20 game now.
Yeah, because Jungle Beat is getting up there because it's an actual video game. And man, I used to have. Do I still have it? Yeah, I have the box for Donkey Konga 2 up there somewhere. So I wonder if I sold those bongos in box with the game, it would be worth anything. Probably not. It's just the bongos themselves are the thing that's worth money. But yeah, so that's all for me this week. Not a lot. You guys kind of broke the bank with your pickup, so got me out of the way first.
Yeah, what have you been picking up, John?
So I grabbed a copy of Road Rash 3 for the Sega Genesis. I have not played this one. I think I've played the original and maybe the second game. I was trying to remember earlier today. But 3 is going to be fresh. I haven't got to play it yet. I just picked it up yesterday. So that'll be a nice one to check out here pretty soon. I also grabbed DDR, the Mario's Dance Mix for the GameCube. No dance pad, so this one might take me a little while to actually. I mean, I guess you could play with a controller, but who wants to do that?
Well, you can get third-party dance pads for pretty cheap for the GameCube. But yeah, finding that original Mario pad's probably going to be a bit of a feat.
I do believe that game is Waluigi's most important role in a Mario game. He's the main antagonist.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I don't know. I just found it. I think I got it for $10. So, and it's complete. It has like the manual and everything. So, yeah. So it's one that I didn't ever really plan on adding, but it's a Mario game. I like to have all the Mario games. My Power Stone collection for the PSP arrived today, so I still haven't got to try it out either. That's one that I picked up after our Power Stone show. I just couldn't hold off any longer, so I went and found a copy. And yeah, I'll definitely be playing that here pretty quick. I'll probably have to charge my PSP. It's been a little while. And then last but not least, I bought a blue Nintendo DS. It's the NTR model, so the original model. And this was basically a blind bag is what I would like to call it, because it just said DS on the thing. I bought it at
Oh, wow.
basically like a yard sale.
It's in really good condition, though.
Yes. Although I did have to pay almost what I paid for it just to get a battery door for it, because they're harder to find. You can get the DS Lite battery doors all day, but hardly anybody has the original DS battery door.
So
especially in that color.
Did you get a third party one, or did you find a Nintendo one?
No, I found an OEM Nintendo.
Oh, wow.
Yep. I found it. It was $10 on Mercari, so it's probably more than it's worth. But
it's a piece of plastic.
But yeah, being OEM and being that I couldn't find a single listing on eBay, so let's put it that way. I tried there first,
right?
Yeah, for some reason they put a battery pack on it. I mean, the DS lasted fairly long on its own. I don't know if I would have needed a third-party battery pack for it, but yeah, no, it's super minty. It has no scratches. Whoever had it, put the screen protectors on it. So yeah, it's super nice. It's way nicer than any of the ones I've seen in the last, probably 2 years that I've been kind of loosely looking for one.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I've been on the hunt for one for a while, and they're never in good condition. They're always scratched up on the back, or it's screen is scratched up, or whatever.
The hinge is broke.
They're just faded, like
the logos.
Yeah,
missing off of it. Like they're just usually junked. I don't know what happened.
I mean, you expect it with portables generally, but I don't know why the DS in particular would be so.
Well, especially that first generation of DS just gets wrecked. Like I've seen DS Lites that look clean as hell.
Yeah.
And I don't know if maybe it's the type of plastic, because the DS Lite has like that transparent hard glossy shell, And the original DS is like painted silver, so that paint always comes off, and I don't know. Scratches just show up better.
The plastic is more soft or more
Yeah.
brittle or something.
It could be.
I don't know. Maybe it just everybody got a light and they're like, I don't need this fat DS anymore. I can
Just throw it around.
throw it around.
Use it as a, their couch leg is a little short. They just
It's a
throw it
coaster.
under there.
It's a coaster
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Or a drink coaster.
Yeah.
But
A double
I'll
drink
probably-
coaster.
Yes. Open it up. You can have 2 drinks on it. But no, it'll probably go back in its little case that I bought it in and hang out there for a while and stay unscratched because I already have like 4 DS lights. I don't need to play on this one. The screens are smaller too.
Did you get a chance to play anything this week?
I did. I finally fired up Skyward Sword and unintentionally put about 4 hours into it just on my first sitting down with it.
Yeah, because it's fun as heck.
Played all the way
Nice.
through the first temple and messed around and collected some of the what are they called, the fragments for the demon. I don't know. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
So making my way through that, finally getting to play it, and then
Which control scheme are you using?
I'm using my Pro controller.
Okay.
And I will say that I don't like the slash as much as I thought I was going to with it.
You mean the right stick?
Yeah, the right stick. I don't like how it reacts. Like, you almost have to double maneuver it to get it to actually, since just moving the stick acts as the one-to-one movement of the sword. You actually kind of have to like jostle it to get it to actually slash. I don't know. How
Some
to explain
movements
it
are more
better
complicated
than
with the
that.
stick. I like how fast it is with the stick because you don't have to do like a whole arm movement. You're just like flick and you do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of have been going back and forth between
Might try out.
the Joy-Con. Did you get the Zelda Joy-Con?
I did. I'm not opening mine though.
Okay. I mean, you have other Joy-Con.
Already-
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a ton of Joy-Cons. I'm still playing. Like right now, I'm doing like a rotation of 2 Switches. I have my Mario Switch that has just Mario Golf on it for right now.
Nice.
So anytime that's my golf tournament Switch. And then I play everything else that's not Mario Golf on my. Because I just get tired of having to like switch back and open up because I have carts for all those things because I have too many kids to buy things digitally. So yeah, now it's like I'll just buy another Switch and just that'll be dedicated to one game and then go from there. But another game that I picked up that I want to talk about quickly, Risk for Rain 2, which also comes with the first game, but I haven't even checked the first game out yet. Just been playing the second game. This is the one that I got the extra copy of from GameStop. And I actually gave the other copy to my son to check out. And while he was playing it, we found out we could play co-op. So we've been playing that game together like every other night or so over the last week. And it's pretty fun. I would consider it a roguelike where you basically you could save some of your progress, but not a whole lot of it from match to match. But it's a shooter. It's kind of I don't know, it kind of reminds me of like Diablo 2, but if you weren't saving any of your progress hardly.
Yeah, I've looked at this game a couple times. 2 is quite a bit different from the first game, right?
From what I can tell and from what I've heard, 2 is basically just like a 3D reincarnation of the game.
That's really interesting for a game to go 2D to 3D, like now. I mean, back in the day, everybody was doing it because 3D was new and
Yeah.
wasn't possible before.
Yeah, and I don't know how old the original game is. I'd have to look it up. Like I said, my main focus has been on the second game.
Yeah, I know co-op's a big deal. I know our friends, the Nintendo pals, are all about this game.
Yeah, I think they're
But
actually
I've never
streaming
played it
it.
myself.
Go listen to that podcast.
Yes. Yeah, if I remember right, they were talking about streaming some this week. So
2013 on
Anybody
PC
2013
And
for
then-
the original game.
and then 2016 on PS4. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it would have been around a time where you would get a 3D shooter like this, but maybe they started out small and just had a 2D vision for the game, and then it grew bigger. And second one, because that's what I've heard, is that the second game is just like a 3D version of the first game. But no, it's a blast. It's super fun co-op. I played a little bit by myself and just got owned because there's way too much going on for one person to handle. And you can play up to 4. Like, you can get into a room with 4 people. So I can only imagine. I've only played it with just my son and I. So having 2 people, I think we made it like 4, because the gates are like checkpoints. You get to a gate, you open up a boss fight, and then you beat that and you go to the next place. I think we've made it through like 4 of them now. So I imagine we could probably make quite a bit further if we added 2 more people. So might have to hook up with Andros and Micah at some point. And
It's online too?
Yes. Yeah, it's all online. So
I'm sure they'd probably just like walk you through the game.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, they're going to be a lot better than I am. Those aren't generally my types of games, but I've been having a lot of fun with it, so I thought I'd mention it. So, Sam, it looks like you have a huge list of you've taken my spot for this week with your game buys. So
Sam went shopping.
I was out of town, and the combination of being able to go to stores I would not normally go to because they're far away, the fact that said stores had actually a lot of inventory at reasonable prices, and I have a Sega Mega SG from Analog due to arrive at my house this Thursday.
You're primed.
Man, I was in the mood to buy a lot of Sega games, but also anything else that looked good.
Down to clown.
So I talked about my visit to Eastarland last week, but I did follow that up this weekend going to a store called Superbit Games, Church, Virginia, which was really cool. They had a good amount of inventory, not as much as Eastarland, but it was a really cool just like setup. Like, it was just a very fun store to walk around and look at stuff in. Staff were friendly, all that. They actually put stickers on their games, but they, have a plastic wrap over, so everything gets kind of like rewrapped in plastic with a sticker on it. You don't have to worry about peeling the sticker off, but you also don't have to worry about, are they going to reprice this game once they know I want to buy it? So it's not that hard, but I'm surprised there are so many game stores that don't do that. Anyway, I left with quite a haul, including X-Men 2 The Clone Wars for the Genesis, Kenseiden for the Master System. I do have the adapter set coming. I think actually every copy of the Mega SG gets you the Master System adapter.
I think
if I'm
so.
not mistaken. The set, though, includes like the Mark III, the My Card, and
Game Gear.
Game Gear. Haven't found any Game Gear stuff anywhere. I'm kind of surprised by that. I didn't pay attention to Sega stuff in general before, but if you'd asked me if Game Gear was harder to find than Master System, I would have said you're crazy.
That's weird.
But that does seem to be the case. Like,
Game Gear
I found
games are
Master
getting
System
scarce.
stuff.
Yeah, but everybody has 12
nobody has
copies
Game
of
Gear
Sonic
stuff.
2.
Well, yeah. I mean,
but not
my
in the
locals
stores.
My locals have the same copies of the same games. Like, there's Sonic, there's, the random sports games.
Lion King,
yep. So, like, you see those, but, like, I only have one local that has,
Columns.
like, real Game Gear selection. And those games have gone up.
Yeah.
So I haven't touched those yet. Because really right now I don't even have a way to play them. But I do have a small Game Gear collection waiting for my dang it, the other Analog Pocket. So I own a Game Gear adapter that hasn't shipped yet, but I don't actually own the console. So
Well, I own a lot of Sega stuff, and I don't have the console yet.
Yeah.
But it did ship. It's just like waiting to get on a plane. My last 2 pickups are great examples of what we might call the RetroLogic effect, where you join our Discord and you hear about a game you didn't know existed, and then you buy it when you see it at a store. One of those is, thanks to Dan, Uniracers.
You got it, man. You enjoy. That game's so
for
good.
the Super Nintendo, and the other is thanks to a guest we had just a couple weeks ago, Drakan the Ancient's Gates. That's a recommendation on the PS2 from our friend Steve. So yeah, that was Superbit Games. Definitely recommend if you're in the area. Virginia has some great game stores. I'm really impressed. I had one more stop, which was not as great a game store experience. They didn't have a lot of inventory. This was a place called Gamer Oasis in Harrisburg, Virginia. Really, like, their shop was kind of a catch-all shop. They had board games. They had a lot of trading cards, Pokemon, Magic. So that seemed to be where their business was for the most part. But they're like also like, okay, sure, if you have games, we'll buy them and sell them. So they didn't have a lot, especially of older stuff. They had like 6 Super Nintendo games total. They did have quite a bit of like Xbox, PS2, Xbox 360, PS3. That seemed to be where most of their inventory was. But as is sometimes the case with these stores that don't have a huge game collection, they have stuff that is well below the going price. And so I picked up a copy of Darkstalkers for $19.95, which if you pull up on price charting goes for over $50 normally. Price charting does list the long box edition, which it says is cheaper. That may just be because they don't sell as frequently. The last sale was like back when retro games were cheap. I don't know. That one still goes for over $30. So this was a good deal. It was in a generic case with just like a pretty much plain white sheet of paper that says Darkstalkers The Night Warriors on. But yeah, I got a chance to play that just today after getting back home, and it's a lot of fun. Definitely see why people love this. Even amidst all other fighting games, it does feel pretty unique. I love the characters. I was playing as Rikuo, the merman. I also played a little bit as Sasquatch. I love Sasquatch. He's the best. Just that whole idea of like we're gonna take like all the stock like horror monsters and make a fighting game with them, but they have such creative interpretations of them. Like even characters you wouldn't expect to, like basically shapeshift for like all their moves. Like Rikuo, like just like his crouching fierce punch, he just suddenly has lobster claws and attacks you with them. And it's like every move, every frame of every sprite in the game is just completely different. It's amazing.
I love Darkstalkers.
Yeah,
But
I
do
would
we
love
ever
for
turn into a
Capcom to
duck?
bring it back. We'll see.
Yeah. Can
We'll
you
see.
quack?
They kind of
Can you
tried.
quack with a button?
I have not found a way to quack yet. There doesn't seem to be a duck button. There's normal crouching, like in most fighting games.
What are we? Who are we? Like, come on. Everybody can crouch except Samus. But come on.
No. Yeah. Metroid can't crawl.
No, Metro can't crawl.
Sometimes she can crouch. Anyway, it was a great deal, so I'm very happy for it. And speaking of talking about deals and how much games cost, let's talk about some Prices Retro.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, we'll start with Dan again. You don't get to go first often.
No, I don't. That's true. First, let's explain the game really briefly, if you don't mind. Do you want me to do
Right,
it?
so if you are joining
You got
us
it.
for the first time, The Price is Retro is a game like The Price is Right. We don't use the same rules, though. It's not over is bust. But each of us will bring a lot of several retro games. We will check the current value according to pricecharting.com, and the others will try to guess the total of the lot and get as close as possible. And that's pretty much the game. 4 to 6 games, could be anything. We like to do themes just to make it a little bit more fun.
Great. I'm going first.
first.
I'm going first.
Yeah, Dan's going first.
All right. So I have a theme, and you're not going to be able to guess it. So per usual,
Duck.
what? The theme is duck.
So
Yeah.
The theme is duck.
Okay. So my first game is Ape Escape Pumped and Primed for the PS2, complete in box. I only have 3 games, by the way. The next one is Ark the Lad Collection on the PlayStation, complete in box. The final game is Fantavision on the PS2, complete in box.
We get a genre on those last 2.
Ark the Lad is an action adventure, RPG-ish kind of thing. That is a collection of those games. And then Fantavision, what is that, a rhythm game? It's like a visualizer. Yeah, it's kind of like a visualizer rhythm game thing. Somebody's going to correct me on Ark the Lad because I don't actually know. I think it's some kind of RPG thing.
I feel like I've heard it before. I thought it was an RPG, but it could be.
Yeah, it's a tactical
an
RPG.
action RPG.
Tactical
Okay.
RPG, not action. Okay.
Okay.
Fixed it. Don't
All
at me.
PS2 games.
All
All
PS
complete.
PS1, Ark the Lad Collection is
PS1.
PS1.
Okay,
Yeah.
PS1. Gotcha.
Any guesses?
I am going to guess 160.
Okay.
All right, I was thinking 200.
Well, I'm always low.
Okay. Actual retail price is $231.
Yeah.
So not bad. We have Ape Escape Pumped and Primed, which let me just say real quick. When I was talking about the PS2, I was talking about the PS2 for like weeks about how much it sucks. But nobody brought up to me, "Hey Dan, did you know that there's an Ape Escape party game on the PS2?" Nobody said that to me. Okay? Cuz that's what this is. This is Mario Party except it's Ape Escape themed. And if I had known that, I would have been a little easier on the old PS2 guys. So next time, let's think ahead a little bit when Dan's crapping on something. Hey, Dan, there's monkeys in this system. Like, just remember that. Ark the Lad Collection. Oh, yeah. Ark the Lad Collection is 182. Boof. The expensive one. And then the final one is Fantavision for the PS2, which is $6.46.
So how much was the Ape Escape game? I don't think you.
Ape Escape was 43.
43. Okay. That's not too bad.
So clearly I didn't know the value of Ark the Lad Collection because my guess was under its value.
Yeah. Per usual,
Clearly.
though, for you.
Oh, hey, Dan, there's a monkey game on
thanks.
the PS2.
Yes. Okay. PS2 fan now for life.
Yep.
I need to buy
Wait.
that game.
Hang on. Remind me what your guess was, John?
What?
200.
200.
200. Okay.
Okay,
For
so
a second, I thought I would have won by guessing 300 again, but
Nope. Not in this
Not
case.
this
no,
not
no.
this time. It would have been closer than I was, though. That's
So
a sad thing.
my theme is that all of the music in these games is designed by this guy. His name is Soichi Terada. He is a Japanese electronic music composer, and he has worked on a lot of different PlayStation games. Honestly, he's worked on pretty much the entire Ape Escape series, which is cool. But other stuff, like the games that I mentioned, and a bunch of stuff in Japan that I can't pronounce. And he did the Namco Museum Archives Volume 1 sound design. So, that's a cool thing. And that's my Price is Retro.
Awesome. John, what do you have for us today?
Alrighty. My first game is Road Rash 3 for the Sega Genesis complete. My second game is Road Rash 64 for the N64 complete. Not for the Atari Jaguar.
Hold up, there's a
Road
Road Rash
Rash
64 for the Jaguar?
Well, no, but the Jaguar is a 64-bit console also.
Oh my god.
That's for Steve. Road Rash for the Sega CD complete. And Road Rash for the 3DO complete.
I mean, I'm just gonna go 250 on this because I'm pretty lost.
Yeah. You know, it's close enough to 300 that I could just guess 300.
Just go for it, man.
But if I'm being honest, I still think it's lower, so I'm going to guess 220.
All right. So Sam should have guessed 300. Total is 284.
Ooh.
The winning strategy, just guess 300 every time.
You know what we need to do? Sorry, let me just pause for a second. We need to have a ghost player every time we play that always guesses 300.
300.
And if the ghost player wins, then we get a penalty. Like we have to do something.
I mean, I could do that every
I feel
time.
like the
I
ghost
can just see
player
how
would have a better record than I do.
I know.
I can just see how close the ghost is to 900.
We need to do that. That's hilarious. All right. Okay. Let's go. Keep going.
So Road Rash 3 for the Sega Genesis Complete is $46. Road Rash 64 Complete is $71. Road Rash for the Sega CD Complete is $118.
Oof.
And Road Rash for the 3DO Complete is $49.
Man, I had Sega CD.
Got me.
I had those two reversed, the 3DO and the
figured you
Sega
did.
CD.
I was trying to see if I could lure out like a 400 guess out of the 3DO.
No, because Road Rash isn't that
But like
popular.
one of the Jurassic Park games for the 3DO is like insane.
I know. Well, I went high on the
Jurassic
3DO
game.
game, but
Well, that's what I was saying. I was hoping with the 3DO I could like bring in somebody for like a big price. But
not today. Not today,
Not
Satan.
today. Alrighty. Sam, it's your turn.
All right, I have a 5-game list this week. So
Ooh,
get
making
ready.
up for my
theme is
3.
probably pretty obvious once you hear the list. So first, I have Beautiful Joe Double Trouble for the Nintendo DS, complete in box.
Okay.
Second is Street Fighter 3 Double Impact for the Dreamcast, complete in box. Then Splinter Cell Double Agent for the GameCube, complete in box. Double Dribble for the NES, loose.
Double dribble.
And lastly, Bubble Bobble Double Shot for the DS, complete in box.
Bubble bobble double shot. Bubble bobble double shot. That's a tongue twister.
Yeah.
Was that last one loose?
No, complete
Okay.
for the DS.
All right. I'm gonna guess. No, I'm gonna let John guess first this time and let you go.
Hold on, what was the second to last game?
Double Dribble for the
Oh, okay.
loose.
For the NES.
That is the only loose game on here.
Yeah. I'm gonna say 300.
Really?
Perfect guess.
All right. I'm gonna go 290.
So the total is 137.19.
Yes. 300, John.
Dude, we just talked about this on the last one. He just mentioned a Dreamcast game that could be pretty pricey.
I guess, yeah.
So I'll give you that one first. It is the most expensive one on the list. Street Fighter 3 Double Impact is $77.
Yeah, that one could have easily been double that.
Maybe it's a bad Street
Beautiful.
Fighter game. I don't know anything
Could
about
be.
it.
I know a lot of people favor Third Strike as far as
Yeah,
Street
for
Fighter
sure.
3. It's kind of the definitive version of it.
Mhm.
But I don't think Double Impact's bad. I think it just had a very short life. Of course, that could always mean it became rare because like a lot of people are like, well,
That's-
I'll just wait for the
That's
next
the
one.
only explanation I have as to why it's so cheap is that it's not very good. Like it's probably panned by the fan base. I don't. This is all a guess. This is all speculation. But like, I'm trying to think of an example of something similar, like a bad game in a series is cheap because nobody likes it. Star Fox Command for the DS. Star Fox fans hate that game, so it's cheap on DS. But it's
I like it.
yeah, I don't mind it. But fan bases do what they do. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. So $77 there. Beautiful Joe Double Trouble for the DS is $33.
Yep.
Splinter Cell Double Agent is $8.45. Pretty low for a GameCube game.
How do you get that one?
Double Dribble for the NES, loose, $4.48. And Bubble Bobble Double Shot for the DS is $14.26.
Wow. I mean, I went high on these, but I thought I was pretty average. So
Do we have another list?
no, not today.
Okay. So
Just us this week.
due to the fact that we have a tie currently,
What?
I'm gonna pull a random game for you two to guess.
We're
You guys
tied?
nosed me out. Yeah, you guys nosed me out
Have
by
we ever
$6,
had a tie before?
and you guys are tied. So right now, Dan is at 134, I'm at 140, and Sam is at 134.
No freaking way. That's crazy.
All right, so I'm gonna pull a random game, just from price charting.
Oh my gosh. This is our tiebreaker. I don't think we've ever had to do a tiebreaker before.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull just a random from a category from a game console.
Pull an amiibo off your wall. We'll guess the price of that.
You want to do it? We can do an amiibo.
If you're already,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. This is Sam's show, so
I don't know about Amiibo, man. I feel the pressure.
Well, I mean,
I'm gonna
I don't
choke.
think that Dan knows amiibo prices either, especially
No,
for
I
a complete
don't.
box.
I know the ones that I'm trying to sell.
yeah, I know a couple of the ones I want, but you know,
All right, I'm going to pick. I'm trying to see if there's anybody that both of you guys would at least know who it is.
it doesn't matter. Just
No.
random. Throw it. Chunk
Okay.
it.
Let's do Waddle Dee from the Kirby series.
Oh, you're doing an amiibo?
Yes,
Oh God. Okay.
this is going to be new in box.
Waddle
How much is
Dee-
a Waddle Dee worth?
New in box. Waddle
New.
D.
Okay.
Good lord.
Shoot, I was feeling confident.
I was
I don't
joking
think I
about the
even looked at
amiibo
new
thing,
price.
John.
So I have one. I looked up the
Oh well, hold on. Let me draw a different one. I didn't know you
Okay,
had Waddle
okay.
Dee. Sorry.
he was in
Okay,
my
let's-
picture.
Well, wait, no,
I
don't,
don't
no.
understand.
Hold up.
Well, he's already seen the price
When?
because he just priced him out the site.
I have, but I was looking at the loose price because that's
Well,
what
I know,
have.
but still, I've got the whole list
Yeah.
right here. Just
All
keep
right.
your thoughts. Let's do Rivali from the Breath of the Wild's
Which one's
Amiibo
that? The
series.
bird?
the Bird champion, brand new.
Brand new.
Okay, I got my price. Locked in.
Dan is
Okay.
locked in
I am locked and loaded.
in a world where two people tie.
My 6-shooter Rivali is loaded.
So how are we
All
doing
right.
this? Does one of us have to go first?
I guess 40.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll just go with the number I had in my head, 55.
All right. So actually, Dan edged you out.
That's what I do.
$20 for a brand new
20,
Rivali,
okay.
which
What?
I do have on my wall.
Isn't that the
I
like
thought it was gonna be
retail
a lot
price?
higher.
See, I guess you can still buy them in stores regularly. Okay. Okay, Nintendo with your amiibo.
I mean, I could give you the raised wing Ratha like I have right here because he's actually gone up just in the last month.
Yeah, you could give me that. I will take it.
I would give it to you. I have another. All right, so Dan wins.
Guys, thank you. Thank you for being
That was
on the show.
That's making up
There you go.
tiebreaker.
What do I
rules
win?
on this.
What do
What
I win,
happens when
Sam?
you don't host? You can divert all your energy to winning prices.
That's why I
Retro.
did that. That's literally why you're hosting tonight, so I could win another game.
Your prize is that you get to host next week.
Yes! Oh, my dreams coming true right before my eyes.
All right, it's logged in the books, the history books. That
Speaking of
also
history books.
ties you with me now, Dan, for wins.
We did it.
Oh,
You did it
Mhm.
got a
finally.
tie. You just
Fortunately,
wait.
Sam, you're
catch up
still
one
about
of these days.
You're still about 15 wins away, so you got some work to do.
Hey, I will hold both of my wins tight.
John, add the ghost in there for next week so that we remember. Just put the word ghost somewhere.
Got it right here.
Because that's going to be a fun twist on the game. I'm excited for that.
Finally, some worthy competition.
I know, right? All right, Sam, what do we got next?
All right. Well, this week in gaming history, even though we just talked about it not too long ago, Power Stone 2 came out 21 years ago on August 23rd for the Dreamcast.
Yeah, I put this one in there because I love Power Stone, and everybody should. Power Stone 2 is the definitive version. Like, it's got a lot of the characters from... Yeah, it's got a lot of the characters from the original. The stages are much more fluid, like they move around a lot more and you do different stuff on them. It's 4-player.
Yeah, that's the most important part.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think my memory retroactively rewrote Power Stone 1 to be a 4-player game because that just makes so much sense for it to be.
Yeah.
It's weird that it wasn't.
Came out on the Dreamcast, which had 4 controller ports.
Yeah, and I don't think that they... Like, the original Power Stone was an arcade game, and they were like, oh, port it to Dreamcast. But then they saw how well it performed as a couch co-op, couch multiplayer game, and they saw Smash Brothers, and they were like, oh, crap. Okay, how about we make this 4-player now?
Dude,
Well,
It only came out
really
like
was,
2 years... It only came out a year later.
Dreamcast really was the home of arcade fighting games.
Yeah.
That was like part of its bread and butter. And I know for a long time, because it was a community that stayed so strong for a game that was very old, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, the Dreamcast version, was considered the standard for tournament play.
Yeah.
that's the one I have. It's super fun. But dude, what if there was a Smash Brothers arcade game? They had like 8-player joystick, like all the way across.
I would love it, but I would also be mad that I would probably not have anywhere to go play it.
It's not totally outside the realm of possibility, too, because they've had like 2 or 3 different iterations of Mario Kart in the arcade. And they've had friggin' Luigi's Mansion in the arcade, too. Have you played that one?
Man. No, I haven't.
It's
unfortunately
amazing. Go to a Dave and Buster's.
Is there anywhere around you that has it?
Me?
Yeah.
Dave and Buster's. Oh, they might not anymore. They had it for a while. I don't know if they still do because they rotate their stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't seen like new stuff at any like arcades around me. I mean, I don't know of too many. I mean, most of them are bars, but like most of the time they're just gobbling up like old stuff, whatever they can find.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you just made me think about a Smash Brothers arcade cabinet when you said that. That would be awesome.
I'd be down for that.
That game's made for arcade.
We should build one.
John's halfway there.
Yeah. But I only got 2 controllers. Like I want our 2 joystick deals. I want like an 8-player Smash Brothers arcade cabinet.
You need to do like a Sega Virtua Racing thing where everybody has their own cabinet and you just line them up.
Just put them in a circle.
Yeah, something like that. Or like a Pac-Man, like one of those new arcade, the multiplayer ones where it's like a giant screen on the wall and everybody's controllers are like way far away and you could line them up like that. Yeah, that's probably what it'll be like.
Nintendo would just attach GameCube controllers to it. Let's just be honest.
So Power Stone 2, I just wanted to bring it up because I love it and it's its anniversary. And John just bought Power Stone Collection. So here we are.
Sounds good to me. So 16 years ago, August 23rd, 2005, was the release of The Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction for the PlayStation 2.
Do y'all remember this game?
Dude, I'm looking
I honestly
it up.
don't. I haven't played
You
it.
guys haven't played Ultimate Destruction?
Take it away.
Okay. So imagine you're playing Grand Theft Auto. Just imagine it. And then imagine that you're the actual Hulk. And you can smash holes in buildings and pick up cars and throw them at people and climb anything. That's Hulk Ultimate Destruction. It's amazing.
Ooh,
It's
I think I did
incredible.
play this game.
And I think it's a little pricey. Come here, Carrie.
Well, it's also on GameCube.
My dog's joining us. Go to the couch. Oh, yeah, but the GameCube version is probably the most expensive one. Go ahead.
Would not surprise me.
Go to the
trying to see
couch.
if there was a difference in. I guess they all released at the same time. So yeah, GameCube version is also August 23rd. Now you've got me curious. I wonder how much this game costs.
Doggo is in position. I think it's 30 or 435 on GameCube. But I'll probably buy the Xbox version if I get it because it's way cheaper and probably looks better. I think the Xbox version was the definitive one if I remember correctly. But
they're all within $10 in price. So
it was the same idea.
Really your choice.
It was the same idea. What was the price? Did you look up?
30 for GameCube, 23 for PS2, and 20 for Xbox.
Yeah, I knew the Xbox version was the cheapest. It's the same idea as Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man.
64?
Huh?
The one was on the 64?
No,
Like
if I remember correctly, it was the same development team as Ultimate Spider-Man. Do you remember Ultimate Spider-Man?
I mean,
is that what it's called?
Spider-Man, the comics, but I don't know what.
There was a Ultimate.
This is
Spider-Man
a Sierra game.
The video game Ultimate Spider-Man. That was Sierra. No, this one's Activision. So I guess it's not. Maybe might have been the same developer still. I don't really know. Developer is Tritech, Vicarious Visions for Spider-Man, and then Hulk, Ultimate Destruction. Do. This game's so good, you guys. It's so much fun.
I might have to buy this now.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. It's the RetroLogic effect. Nope. Totally different developer. So they just like the word ultimate in their Marvel superhero games. But it's great. That's all. That's all I have to say about it.
All right. Well, we've also got a couple notable game releases coming out this week. The first of which is Psychonauts 2, coming out this Wednesday for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. This just brought to my attention the fact that I bought the first Psychonauts on Steam forever ago and never played it. So,
so good.
Maybe I should find time to fix that.
My local has a copy for Xbox, but it's like $50. And
The first one, you mean?
Yeah, I kind of want it because it was exclusive to the Xbox
As a console, yeah.
Yeah.
It's on
And
PC.
I kind of want it, but I also don't want to pay $50, so probably not going to buy it.
Yeah, that's high for an Xbox game.
Very high. Yeah. Not as high as freaking Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast. $200 for that game. Why?
You're gonna get
Hell if I
Is
know.
worth it.
Apparently it's a very good racing game and I'd love to play it, but heck no.
Yeah, some of these things make you wonder. No More Heroes 3 is also coming out soon.
Friday.
in 4 days.
Friday. Yeah, Friday. So
This is
yeah,
John's.
for those of you that
this
are
is-
No More Heroes fans, I do have a
Yep.
copy of No More Heroes. I didn't buy it myself. It's one of those Wii games my brother just said I could have. Never really been my thing, to be honest, but
First one's very good.
maybe I'll play it.
I just recently bought the collector's editions of the limited run releases for the Switch.
Sweet. Are you going to get it digitally so you can play it day one?
3?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I'll buy 3. I'll buy.
Oh,
physically.
the special edition
I
doesn't
bought
have
the-
3. Okay. I
Well,
misunderstood.
the special edition is just 1 and 2,
Okay.
and they came in
Yeah,
their
I'll
own separate box with
probably
their own
check out
steelbooks.
Psychonauts 2. It is available on Game Pass day one, I believe. So
Yeah, buddy.
we'll see whether I just jump into it or try to actually play Psychonauts 1. It's not a long playthrough, is it? The first game?
No, it's a shorter. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Mario 64 length, shorter
There's
than
so
that.
many games to play, though.
Yeah.
So many. Like, literally, everyone could stop making new video games tomorrow, and I would never run out of stuff to play.
No, it's so true.
That's what playing retro games does to you.
Man, can you imagine? Can you imagine what that would do to prices if they were just like, we're not making any more games. Everything's going to stop being released. Like, there'd be no more re-releases or remakes of anything. Like, prices would go bananas.
Yeah.
So, according to How Long to Beat, Psychonauts is a 12-hour game. I just wanted to give you
It's
a
actually a
answer.
little longer than I thought.
That's way shorter than I thought. What do we know?
I mean,
We just
thinking
play
it's
video
like
games.
an 8-hour game, but yeah.
We just
I don't
run a
know, I never played
podcast.
it. Yep. Psychonauts, it's a game.
I mean, that's going to be a fairly good, like 3,000 people were pulled, so I'd say 12 hours is pretty definitive.
It's very good.
Well, okay then. Let's take a short break, and when we come back, we will talk about the Super Nintendo celebrating its 30-year anniversary, as well as a highlight on one of my new favorite games, Dokapon Kingdom. Welcome back. We'll be talking about the Super Nintendo 30-year anniversary shortly, but first, let's talk about some Dokapon Kingdom. I don't know if either of you have had a chance to play this yet, but I have been having a blast. It's a recent pickup for me.
It's been on my
One of
list for a
the-
while. I've been wanting to, and the price just keeps going up on Wii. So the PS2 version may be what I have to settle for.
Yeah, that's definitely why I settled for it. As far as I know, there are no differences between the two versions, unless you are buying the Japanese version. The Japanese PS2 version does not autosave, and the Wii version does. But
Weird.
in all other regions where it came out later, both of them autosave. So
So
that's actually one of the first interesting things about this game is it took its time to make its way to different regions.
yeah, it sure did. So give me, just before we jump into too much, give me like a brief rundown of what exactly the hell this game is.
So Dokapon Kingdom is essentially what happens when you combine a standard JRPG with a job system and random encounters with monsters and a Monopoly-style board game.
Amazing. I still can't believe it's a real thing.
Your goal is to amass the greatest amount of money. You do that by gaining control of towns. At the start of the game, all the towns are occupied by monsters. By beating the monster that's taken over a town, you gain that town. You can also, through various objectives, gain castles, which are worth even more. Playing the story mode, different sections of the board open up as different missions are completed. But you are somewhat working together to progress to the end of the game, but also competing with your fellow players, whom you can fight directly in combat.
Oh my gosh.
Combat is very rock, paper, scissors based. But one of the greatest things about this game is that when you defeat another player in combat, you have a number of lovely options for what you do to them afterwards, referred to as pranks. Now, you could do something mundane and useful, like stealing their items or their money or even one of their towns. Or you could opt for the most fun option, which is to change their name to something else forcibly, which I have done to the CPU characters in my game multiple times. There's a character whose default name was Madoka that I changed to Plock for Smash in all capital letters. You can also draw on their faces. Unfortunately, it doesn't let you do that yourself customizably. It basically produces a random mark out of several.
Oh my gosh.
I believe you can also like shave their head, do all kinds of just like goofy things.
That's
just
genius.
to rub it in their face.
Why doesn't more games do stuff like that? That's incredible.
Mario Party.
Change their name? That's hilarious.
Yep. Now, the effect of all pranks will go away upon returning to Dokapon Castle, which is sort of like the main hub of the map. So it isn't permanent, but it could last a good long time depending on where they're stuck.
Good enough for me.
Yeah, there's just a whole lot of oddity. It is a fantasy setting, but at the same time you have like some random events where like a robot will walk up to you and offer to attack one of the other players, and he's basically impossible to beat, but you have to pay him a huge amount of money to do it. Now, I also learned, I haven't experienced this directly myself, if the player you sick him on has like over twice as much money as you, then they might be presented with an option to pay him double to go attack you instead.
Oh my gosh.
The game is very much easy come, easy go when it comes to money, towns, anything. All of it can be lost suddenly by the whim of a roll of the dice. Nothing is more apparent than the fact that the most dangerous player in the game always is the player in last place. If a player has been in last for 10 turns in a row, they will begin to hear dark whispers. There is a space on the map they can go when they're under this condition. There will be a little bat following them around. And if they accept this sort of deal with the devil, they can become a darkling. And in order to do so, they do have to throw away all their current items, money, and towns. But they basically become ridiculously overpowered. There is pretty much no way to beat them, and you cannot use the surrender option against them. You have to straight up die. They gain a variety of powers where they can, say, teleport everyone to their space so that they have to fight them. They can make monsters appear at every town on a certain continent at once. And their stats are ridiculously high so that you basically can't beat them unless you're in a game that's somehow gone on forever and everybody's level 99. But yeah, so that is a constant.
Can you still win?
Flow.
Can you still win as the Darkling, or now you
cannot
forfeit?
Gain any towns as a Darkling?
Okay, so you forfeit being able to win.
You basically exist to screw over the players that are ahead of you.
God, what the heck?
Now it
This
only
game
lasts
is
a certain
so
amount of
trolling.
time. This game, it only lasts a certain amount of time, and you do sort of put yourself in a position to take it back. But oftentimes, it's the guy in third place that actually benefits the most from the Darkling, who's going after the guys in first and second.
Amazing.
I could see that.
But yeah, it's a load of fun, especially with multiple players. I've only got to play with AI so far, but it's great. It is. I do not regret spending $60 on this game. That's a high price for a PS2 game, but worth it. It was worth it. If you can buy it for that price now, I mean, I would say you won't regret it. I don't know. Maybe you don't like stupid RNG board game RPGs as much as I do.
No, I do. I do love stupid RNG board games.
Sounds like I need to buy this and use my multi-tap for the PS2.
It sounds like we need to figure out how to.
It is a turn-based game, so I don't think you really need to. You might need two controllers for player versus player, so that you can both select your commands at the same time. But I mean, as far as like taking your turn, yeah, I assume you could just pass the controller.
It sounds like we need to find a way to play this online with the community somehow. ROMs and some sort of emulation software that goes online.
Voodoo magic.
We got to figure it out.
It wouldn't be the hardest to do. You wouldn't even need a terribly stable connection because it's not like anything happens in real time.
Yeah. Amazing.
But yeah, as far as the release, this is actually a long-running series that started with, oddly enough, a game called Dokapon 4. It's the first game in the series. The 4 references the fact that it is a 4-player game, which was unusual on the Super Famicom, which it came out for. The second game of the series is called Dokapon 321, riffing off of the 4
Oh
that
my
confused
God.
people from the first game.
So
And
let me
Dokapon
wait.
Kingdom.
So, hold on. So this game, where you're basically trolling people the whole time, trolls its fan base with the numbering system. Got it. Understand.
Pretty much, yes.
So these games are Japan only, though, right?
Yes, most of the games in the series are Japan only.
And there's probably lots of text.
Now, I bring up Dokapon 321 because Dokapon Kingdom is technically a remake of it.
Oh.
But
Nice.
Kingdom is the only non-portable entry to ever be localized outside of Japan. Which
yeah,
is
that's right, we
probably
talked
a
about
lot of why it is the one that has a high price. Dokapon Journey on the DS also commands a pretty high price, nowhere near as high as the Wii edition of Kingdom. But like Dokapon Monster Hunter on the GBA is actually reasonably cheap. Now it does have some big differences. It was kind of almost a spin-off. I think it might be considered a spin-off. But yeah, all the rest that made it over here are on handhelds. Dokapon Kingdom in particular, though, came out on the PS2 November 22nd of 2007 in Japan. It would not reach North America until October 14th, 2008, which was the same time the Wii port came over here. Japan got the Wii port a little early, July 31st of 2008. So the PS2 version came out first, the Wii version followed, and made it to North America, and they figured, since that one's going over here, we'll go ahead and release the PS2 one as well. It did not reach Europe, however, until March 26th of 2010.
Wow.
And they only got the Wii version, not the PS2 version.
Oh, jeez.
It also had different publishers in every region.
Oh my gosh.
So that kind of explains why it's so funky here with, for whatever reason, the company that published it in Japan is called Examu. I didn't really dig up a whole lot on them. Evidently, they're a somewhat big publisher. Atlas themselves would publish the game in North America. They're kind of the biggest brand associated with it, but and they started the original game, Dokapon 4 on the Super Famicom. But they had at some point handed it over to Sting Entertainment, which is the main developer. Most of the later games were published by Atlas, though, because Atlas actually bought Sting, so they're part of Atlas.
Which is part of Sega.
And the Wii port was also published by yet another different publisher called Big Ben in Europe.
What the heck?
So
Big.
evidently, nobody wanted to just publish this everywhere.
We just need to get Sega to strong arm Atlas into making a new one. Or just
find out that Big Ben is also owned by Sega.
Yeah. No, what is interesting is that the series is still pretty much alive and well in Japan. A game came out, a new Dokapon game came out December 10th, 2020, last year, Japan only, called Dokapon Up Mugen no Roulette. This is actually a crossover with a series called Utawareru Mono, which is very hard to say. It is apparently another Japan-only series, which is sort of a hybrid visual novel strategy RPG. Don't know much about it, but characters from it appear in Dokapon Up. Obviously, didn't really seem like a good way to localize to North America because there would be all these references to a series we don't have. I will note, though, that if you want to parse a lot of text that you might not be able to read, the Switch is essentially region-free. You could buy this game and play it on your North American Switch.
So I was going to ask, what console did it come out on?
Yeah, on Nintendo Switch last year.
They got to localize that crap. Let's do it. Come on, guys.
Yeah, it is interesting. The series took a bit of a breather after Dokapon Journey on the DS, but it does seem to have come back to its normal self. It's just these games just don't get localized often, and I think that's Dokapon Kingdom in particular did not review well on its launch. It got kind of mixed reviews, a lot of like 7 out of 10s. People who saw the fun in it, but it certainly wasn't pushing any technical specs or breaking any new ground in storytelling or anything.
Right.
But it's kind of got a new lease on life from streaming. It's pretty popular with streamers. It's pretty popular with stream viewers.
That's
because
cool.
of all the hilarity that ensues from it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of got a legacy.
Sweet.
So yeah, any other thoughts or questions about that?
Yeah, I don't even. I mean, it. Like, I'm super sold on it. It sounds like something that's right up my alley. How I would play it, that's up to question at this point.
Get in your car, drive to Columbus, Ohio, and just come over to my house,
All right,
and we'll
let's
play
do
it
it.
all night.
Let's do that. I do have family up there. There is brand new copies of the PS2 version still on sale on eBay for $60 a pop. So anybody listening to this who's like, I gotta play some Dokapon Kingdom, then there you go. That's where you get it. Buy two, keep one sealed.
I bought one of those. Nothing seemed particularly sketchy about it. The one I got shipped from Canada. Usually my number one red flag from online listings is if it's shipping from China, it's probably a bootleg.
Yeah.
Particularly if it's under the going price. But if this is a bootleg or reproduction, it's an incredibly good one because I can't tell the difference. And usually when you get it in your hand, you can immediately tell the difference.
Right.
Like, oh
yeah.
This label feels wrong. This plastic feels wrong.
I would
Seems
trust you.
CDs are not like disc games usually aren't reproduces.
Right. Those are harder to crack for sure. Cool. Good deal, man.
Yeah, so that is Dokapon Kingdom. But the big news this week is that the Super Nintendo is turning 30 years old. And so we asked our community to share some of their favorite memories of the Super Nintendo, when they first played it, when they first discovered it, what games they were playing. So Dan, I'll hand it over to you to talk about that.
Thank you very much. I got a bunch of responses, tons of love for the Super Nintendo, understandably, obviously. So I'll read a few of these. We'll go over our answers, and then talk really quick about the Retro Rewind game for this month. So Chris HL94, our buddy Chris HL says, I didn't get the SNES at launch, but I started playing it a lot in college. Probably doesn't need to be said that I spent a lot of time playing NHL 94. Imagine that.
Never would have guessed.
16-bit Nomad says, I didn't get one at launch, but one of the first games I ever played was Breath of Fire, and I was hooked. And I have always loved that series. It and Shining Force are what helped me fall in love with RPGs. That's cool.
Solid.
Eric Plunk says, after fawning over Volume 28 of Nintendo Power that featured Super Mario World, I knew I had to have an SNES that Christmas of 91. For some reason, my dad couldn't get an image to show up on the TV just know. Whether it had something to do with being a channel 3 or 4, who knows? We ended up returning the system to Walmart and getting another, so everyone was hooked up and ready, and I finally got to dive into Super Mario World. It felt leaps and bounds over what the SNES could do, what the NES could do, and riding Yoshi was so cool. Sometime that next year I'd finally beat it, and it was the first game I ever finished. Oh, that's cool. My brother Adam says, I didn't get one at launch. I was a Genesis kid post-NES, but I acquired an SNES for my college dorm and played almost exclusively Mario RPG. I had the Super Nintendo in the house. That's why he never... he had the Sega.
You didn't share?
No, we did. We both played both, but he wasn't really into Super Nintendo. It was kid stuff at that point. Grim Leaper says, I didn't get mine right at launch. When I did get it, my parents got me 2 games, neither of which I asked for, but it worked out. He got Final Fight, which is awesome, and he got Super Bases Loaded. So that's pretty cool. Drex1981 says, I didn't get mine till much later, and I got Super Mario World, Mega Man X, Super Metroid, and Chrono Trigger. I mean, you could be set for life with those 4 games alone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to pick a better set of 4 games.
Seriously. Solo Something says, I got it when it came out. First game I played was Super Mario World, and he loved Yoshi. My jump in and out game that I used to get a lot of life for on it. Sorry, that's just weird language. Was Street Fighter. Rocked it in the arcade, so he loved having it at home. Flightsy doesn't have an SNES, so we need to fix that somehow. We have a few more of these, but before we jump into the rest, let's go over our answers. So Sam, why don't you go first? Do you own an SNES? What was the first time you got one, played one?
Yes. It has been there as long as I can remember. So, interestingly enough, I came pretty close to sharing a birthday with the Super Nintendo. My birthday is in 1 week. So
oh, nice!
I just missed it.
It's older than you.
Growing up as the youngest child, we had a Super Nintendo before I really had memories. So I'm not actually sure when we did, but probably by around 90. When did Donkey Kong Country come out?
94. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm guessing we got the Donkey Kong Country bundle, but I would have been 2 then. So like we're talking very early in my life. That may have been the first game I quote unquote played, in that one of my older brothers probably gave me a controller and then took it back once it was Diddy Kong's turn. But it was either that or Super Mario World, most likely. I mean, those are games I remember playing very early at any rate, but I honestly can't say with certainty what the first game I played was, because I was like a baby when this thing entered the house. But yeah, it's also the system I always go back to. This was huge for me. I mentioned it before. Those last few summers before I was old enough to have a job, I spent a lot of time going back to the Super Nintendo, playing the games that I thought were impossible to beat before and beating them. And that really, is kind of what made me interested in retro games generally. Is just the like, oh yeah, you go back and the old stuff is actually really good, and there's stuff there that you don't see in the modern games, and there's value to that. And even now, like, picking up the analog Super NT has got me replaying old favorites, hunting down everything Super Nintendo that was never even on my radar before, to the point of Super Famicom games that never released in the US. It is my favorite system and always will be.
Awesome. Okay, John, what about you?
So we got I didn't have an NES in my house. My grandma had one. And the Super Nintendo was the first system that my brother, because my brother's 10 years older than I am, and I believe he just bought it. Like, I think he got it at some point in time. And if I remember right, it was around 92 is when we got ours. And the first game that I remember playing is probably Super Mario World or Mario Kart. And then also lots of Top Gear and Desert Strike, the helicopter game.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason we had that game, and I don't know where it came from. But I played a lot of that.
Nice.
Yeah, so my brother left. He left the Super Nintendo, and I just kept playing from there. I had Donkey Kong and Sim City, and just randomly picked up stuff here and there. My famous copy of Evo, Search for Eden, that I got at a yard sale for $5.
Oh my
Played
gosh.
it on there.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, I played lots of Super Nintendo. It was it's the first console that I really put a whole lot of time into, like in my room, like playing. I didn't have a lot of video games at an early age, but my cousin next door did, so I played a lot of NES, like before school and after school. That's where I got my NES time in, playing a little bit of everything. He had like everything for NES.
You got that one of those rich friends.
Yeah, his mom did yard sales a lot too, so she would just like pick up boxes of, because I mean, that's the point in time you could find NES games at yard sales already.
Right.
So he just had boxes of them.
Crazy. Man, I miss those days. Just find rents, just yard sale, pick up a box of stuff.
Oh yeah, I was just waiting for the school bus, and his mom would like come back from, because she would yard sell at like 4 a.m. She'd be like knocking on people's doors, asking them to start the yard sale, and like we'd be waiting for the bus, and like she would just drop a box of games and like, here's some stuff to try out. You know, it was pretty cool.
That's a cool mom. So my first real memory that I have playing a Super Nintendo was at my cousin's house, and the game was Donkey Kong Country. And I just remember being obsessed and be like, this looks amazing. Like, what is the deal? You know, because like my brother had an NES, and I remember playing the NES like as a little kid, like five and six. But it had to have been the Christmas of '95, so I was 9, and my dad for Christmas got me the Super Nintendo Donkey Kong set, and just that thus began a love affair with the big ape himself and just the Super Nintendo. From there, you know, the funny thing is that I actually, to this day, have never gotten very far in Super Mario World. I've played it a little bit here and there, but it's just not a game that I was attached to very much. But like, just, you know, Gradius 3 we got for cheap, picked up Top Gear, and we played a bunch of like Uniracers. I played Uniracers a ton. Later on, I got Mario RPG, and that was my jam for a long time. That's the game I would sit on the couch and play for hours on end when I was sick. I never beat it as a kid. I would always get stuck at this one part. And I told this story on another podcast, but I remember there's a secret Final Fantasy boss in this game that's apparently like impossible, super hard to beat. And I didn't know that it was a secret boss. I got stuck, so I was trying stuff out, and I made it to the boss, and I thought like, oh, finally I'm making some progress. And like, I would just get owned constantly. I forget the name of the boss and all that stuff, but this is a real thing.
Lex, I think.
Yeah, something like that. And man, I just remember being so frustrated as a kid, you know, but yeah, I have nothing but just amazing childhood memories, renting games, playing games with my friends, Super Nintendo, and playing Turtles in Time, 2-player. Yeah.
Fighting games, man.
I don't play fighting games, but go ahead and talk about it.
Well, I mean, SNES was like a port machine for arcade fighting games at
Big
the
time.
time. Like, you had Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Killer Instinct. They were really pushing that hardware at the time.
And, you know, all the knockoffs of Street Fighter, like Tough Enough.
And Clay Fighter.
Although,
Clay Fighter was its own
I'll
thing.
admit, we didn't have Street Fighter 2. So my fighting game experience from then was limited to Clay Fighter and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters.
That's a good
which
one.
Ooh.
Primal
It's actually
Rage.
one of the better Street
Primal
Fighter clones.
Rage.
I remember
Rage is
playing
sick.
Primal Rage briefly.
Mm-hmm.
It was a rental.
I loved Primal Rage. It was good.
I need to get that one. It's cheap and it's
I
good.
have it.
Yeah. So let's read some more of these community reactions. We've got K9 Cantina, who says, I inherited the SNES from my mother. My father bought her one at launch when I was super young, and it was the first system I played, and I still remember playing Super Mario World, Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. We also had Mario All-Stars later, which is where he played Super Mario 1 through 3 for the first time. Crazy Greek Dre says, got it the following Christmas after launch year. It came with Mario World, and I played it to death during Christmas vacation week. Tex Trey says, I had the NES since 98, which I guess was for my parents because I was only 2, but addicted. First played SNES at a friend's house down the block, and Super Mario World blew my mind. Fast forward to kindergarten in 92, and some neighborhood kids and I were taking turns jumping off the 4-foot high electrical box in my backyard, and one of them pushed me off, causing me to break my arm in 2 places when I landed. At the hospital, to calm me down or to bribe me or something, my mom said I could get a new Nintendo game when I got home, but my dad either misheard or he felt so bad about the situation, he later came home with a whole darn SNES. So luckily my thumb was out of the cast enough to be able to play with the controller. So that's a crazy story. That's an origin story for the Super Nintendo. Spider Shan, good old Spider Shan, says, my memory of getting an SNES is actually fuzzier than the NES for some reason. I know I got it for Christmas. I'm not sure if it was 91 or 92. Probably 92, as I recall reading about the games for a while on Nintendo Power. I don't remember playing it anywhere before, but it came with Super Mario World, so I know that's what I first played. 3 days later, I got Link to the Past for his birthday, dropped Super Mario World to play that before coming back to it that winter. I think I beat Link to the Past 3 times in a row, still my favorite game of all time. Good deal. And then Steven's NES community member shows off a cool picture of his collection, which, I mean, all the staples, Donkey Kong Trilogy, Earthworm Jim, Block, just the staples, you know. Stacks of
Plock
probably
machine.
40 games there.
It is the exclusive home of Plock. If there wasn't enough reason for you to believe that it is the greatest system of all time.
That's it. That's the only reason
Plock
you need.
Machine.
So that's our community chat about the 30th anniversary of the Super Nintendo. I feel old.
And if you're hankering for more Super Nintendo, you can play our Retro Rewind game.
Yes.
Which was also a Super Nintendo game. Claymates. One of the underrated gems of the Super Nintendo.
That's right.
We'll have the same people as Play Fighter.
We'll have our community live discussion on September 2nd at 9:30 p.m. CDT. So stay tuned for details on how to sign up for that. There will be a link in Discord, and I will @ you. So don't worry, you won't miss it. So
those are always a whole lot of fun, and we love having people participate in those.
Definitely.
But I think that's all we have for tonight, so thank you for listening to the RetroLogic podcast. We are proudly part of the Nintendo Dads family of podcasts. If you like what you hear, check us out on Twitter and Instagram at RetroLogic Games, and you are also welcome to jump into our family-friendly, 100% non-toxic Discord community. The link is in the RetroLogic Twitter bio, and you can find everything at our website, retrologic.games.
I wouldn't call the Discord family friendly. It's friendly, but there's a little bit of
I think I ad-libbed
adult conversation going on there. I just wanted, that's fine. I just wanted to be clear in case people were like, "Oh, my 8-year-old can join the Discord." Great. No, probably not.
Yeah, that's fair.
But thanks for hosting, Sam. I appreciate that. You killed it.